Hello everyone, myself Shruti, working as Assistant Professor in Government Engineering College. I welcome you all to the lecture series on the subject Technical Innovation Management and Entrepreneurship for 5th semester. This is a video which is a part of Learning Management System under the Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. In this session, I'll be discussing on some of the topics of second module, and they are the meaning on and definition of organizing function, which is considered to be as another key function of manager of an enterprise. Then we will see the characteristics of organizing and its purpose, and at last the steps involved in the process of organizing. After all these, I'll be discussing some multiple choice questions on the topics I'll discuss in this session. Organizing in simple words is the idea of putting things together in a logical order. I have shown a picture of an organized kitchen. So it looks so clean, isn't it? Why do we need to organize, by the way? Is it just to give it a better appearance? No, not just that. We have many benefits of keeping stuffs organized, and I will list some of them for you. You can increase your productivity by keeping organized. You will save time looking for things. You will have more time to work upon important tasks. As organization can improve the flow of communication between you and your team. Your team may also include your family members at home. You can also make your team more productive. After all, better communication leads to better results. Another benefit could be that you can reduce your stress level. Is your manager asking you to locate a document from 5 years ago? If things are organized and labeled neatly, tracking this down should be a piece of cake rather than a source of stress. Also, you can be on time consistently. Organization and punctuality go hand in hand. Now let us see what does organizing mean with respect to an enterprise. You all know that organizing is the second essential and well accepted function of management after planning. Let us look at the meaning and definitions of organizing. Organizing is the foundation upon which the whole organization is built. Without efficient organizing, no management can perform its function smoothly. Sound organization contributes greatly to the continuity and the success of the organization. A poor organization structure makes good performance impossible no matter how good the individuals are. The term organization connotes different things to different people. For example, to the sociologist, organization means a study of interaction of people, classes, or hierarchy of an enterprise. To the psychologists, organization means an attempt to explain, predict, and influence the behavior of individuals in an enterprise. The word organization is also used widely to connote a group of people and the structure of relationships. To organize a business is to provide with everything useful to its functioning, which includes personnel, raw material, tools, capital, and so on. All this may be divided into two main sections: human organization and material organization. Once managers have established objectives and developed plans to achieve them, they must design and develop a human organization that will be able to carry out those plans successfully. According to Allen, an author, this organization refers to the structure which results from identifying and grouping work, defining and delegating responsibility and authority, and establishing relationships. Staffing may also be considered as an important function involved in the building of human organization. In staffing, the manager attempts to find the right person for each job. Staffing fixes a person's responsibility to recruit and to make certain that there is enough manpower available to fulfill the various positions needed in the organization. Staffing involves the selection and training of future managers and encouraging a highly disciplined approach to work among them, even if it requires taking stringent measures. It also necessitates a suitable system of compensation. Staffing obviously cannot be done once for all, since people will be continually leaving, getting fired, getting retired, and maybe dying. Often, too, the changes in the organization create new positions, and these must be filled. It should be noted that different objectives require different kinds of organization to achieve them. For example, an organization for scientific research will have to be very different from the one for manufacturing bicycles. Producing bicycles requires assembly line techniques, whereas scientific research requires teams of scientists and experts in various disciplines. Such people cannot be organized on an assembly line basis. Now, coming to the definition of organization, there is no standard definition for the word organization as such. Different writers have defined the word differently. According to an author by name Amitai, an organization is a social unit or human grouping deliberately structured for the purpose of attaining specific goals. Another author, Allen, defines the term as the process of identifying and grouping of the work to be performed, defining and delegating responsibility and authority, and establishing relationships for the purpose of enabling people to work most effectively together in accomplishing their objectives. Now, let us try to understand the importance of organizing. A comprehensive approach to organizing helps the management in many ways. Organizing aligns the various resources towards a common mission, such as efficient administration, which brings together various departments by grouping similar and related jobs under a single specialization. This establishes coordination between different departments, which leads to the unification of effort and harmony in work. It governs the working of various departments by defining activities and their authority relationships in the organizational structure. It creates the mechanism for management to direct and control the various activities in the enterprise. Next, we have resource optimization, which implies that organizing ensures effective role job fit for every employee in the organization. It helps in avoiding confusion and delays, as well as duplication of work and overlapping of effort. Organizing benefits specialization because it is the process of organizing groups and subdivide the various activities and jobs based on the concept of division of labor. This helps the completion of maximum work in minimum time, ensuring the benefit of specialization. It also promotes effective communication because organizing is an important means of creating coordination and communication among the various departments of the organization. Different jobs and positions are interrelated by structural relationship. It specifies the channel and mode of communication among different members. It creates transparency since the job and activities performed by the employees are clearly defined on the written document called job description, which details out what exactly has to be done in every job. Organizing fixes the authority and responsibility among employees. This brings in clarity the transparency in the organization. It helps expansion and growth because when resources are optimally utilized, there exists a proper division of work among the departments and employees. Management can multiply its strength and undertake more activities. Organization can easily meet the challenges and can expand their activities in a planned manner. The important characteristics of an organization are specialization and division of work, coordination in work, working for for the achievement of a common objective, cooperative relationship among employees, and a well-defined authority and responsibility relationship among the staff. Let me discuss each of them one by one. The first characteristic is specialization and division of work. Organization deals with the whole task of business. The total work of the enterprise is divided into activities and functions. Various activities are assigned to different persons for their efficient accomplishment. This brings in division of labor. It is not that one person cannot carry out many functions, but specialization in different activities is necessary to improve one's efficiency. Organization helps in dividing the work into related activities so that they are assigned to different individuals. The best example for division of work is our own body, where each cell type is specialized in performing one particular function. The more developed the organism is, the greater is the degree of division of work. The greatest advantage of division of labor is that it increases immensely the activity productivity per worker. This point can be illustrated by the famous example of pin making given by Adam Smith. The process of pin making is divided into 18 distinct operations. 10 men make 48,000 pins in each day if each of 18 specialized tasks are assigned to particular workers. One worker may therefore be considered to have made 4,800 pins in a day. In the absence of division of work, one man could have made only one pin in a day or at most only 20 pins. Thus, with division of labor, the productivity capacity of the individual and of the community has greatly increased. Another advantage is that the work under division of labor is allotted according to the ability and capacity of individual worker. This ensures a high degree of efficiency as right man is put in the right job. Thus, it eliminates the possibility of fitting a square peg in a round hole. The next advantage is that the worker becomes highly skilled and acquires high degree of dexterity because of repeated performance of the same operation. As the age-old proverb goes, practice makes man perfect. The worker acquires perfection in a skill because he has to carry out the same operation over and over again. This adds to his productivity. Another advantage is that it promotes the development of new ideas and better techniques of doing the work. It is due to the fact that when a worker is performing the same operation over and over again, he can think of doing that process in a better and improved manner. He may introduce some mechanical device to do that task easily and more efficiently. Thus, division of labor results in inventions of new machineries and better tools. The next advantage is saving in time. Under division of labor, a worker performs a part of the whole process and therefore he needs to learn only that much. Long term, long periods of training are therefore unnecessary. This saves great money and time. Further, as the worker remains employed on the same process, he does not waste his time in moving from one process to another. He therefore goes on working without loss of time. This further results in saving the time. The next advantage is that the worker need not have to be provided with a complete set of tools required for the whole process. He is provided with only those tools which are required by him for the performance of that part of the process which is allotted to do. Thus, one set of tools can be made use of by many workers. This is a great economic gain. The next advantage is that the use of machinery is encouraged. By breaking up the production of a commodity into small and simple operations, division of labor encourages the use of machinery and its introduction. These simple operations easily can be carried out by suitable machines. Machines can be economically used only when they are fully used, that is, when their productive capacity is fully utilized. Division of labor involves production on a large scale and therefore permits the economical use of machinery. Another distinct advantage of division of labor is that the economies of large scale are reaped. The cost per unit tends to fall down when the commodity is produced on a large scale, which ensures the production of cheaper goods. Even poor people can buy them. As a result of this, the standard of living of people rises. The next advantage is rise of entrepreneurs. Since the work is divided into processes, someone is required to coordinate the work. This has resulted in the rise of entrepreneurs whose job is to specialize in the art of organization. This rise of entrepreneurs has greatly contributed to the increase in the efficiency and productivity of the modern economy. The next characteristic of organizing is coordination of various activities, which is which is as essential as their division. It helps in integrating and harmonizing various activities. Coordination also avoids duplication and delays. In fact, various functions in an organization depend upon one another and the performance of one influences the other. Unless all of them are properly coordinated, the performance of all segments is adversely affected. The next characteristics of organizing is to have a common objective. All organizational structures is a means towards the achievement of enterprise goals. The achievement of goals, of various goals, goal segments, leads to the achievement of major business goal. The organizational structure should be built around common and clear-cut objectives. This helps in the proper accomplishment of the objective. The next characteristic of organizing is the cooperative relationship among the employees. An organization creates cooperative relationship among various members of the group. An organization cannot be constituted by one person. It requires at least two or more persons. Organization is a system which helps in creating meaningful relationship among the persons. The relationship should be both vertical and horizontal among members of various departments. The structure should be designed so that it motivates people to perform their part of work. The next characteristic of organizing is a well-defined authority-responsibility relationship. An organization consists of various positions arranged in an hierarchy with well-defined authority and responsibility. There is always a central authority from which a chain of authority relationship stretches throughout the organization. The hierarchy of position defines the lines of communication and pattern of relationship. The next characteristic of organizing is flexibility. The organizing process should be flexible so that any change can be incorporated easily. It ensures the ability to adapt and adjust the activities in response to the change taking place in the external environment. The programs, policies, and strategies can be changed as and when required if the provision for flexibility is made in organizing process. Next, let me discuss the purpose of organization. Organization means a form of human association for the attainment of common objectives. An industrial organization denotes a type of associationship of persons in relationship to some economic activities. Obviously, the better the organization, the fuller would be the achievement of common objectives. Similarly, a loose organization implies an unhappy and dangerous state of affairs. Organization is essential for the following purposes. First one is to facilitate pattern of communication. Organization structure provides pattern of communication and coordination. By grouping activities and people, structure facilitates communication between centered on their job activities. People who have joint problem often need to share information to solve the problem. The next purpose is to to allocate authority and responsibility. Organization structure allocates authority and responsibility. It specifies who is to direct whom and who is accountable for what results. The structure helps the organization members to know what his role is and how it relates to others' role. The next purpose is to locate decision centers. Organization structure determines the location of decision making in the organization. For example, a departmental store may leave pricing decision to the lower level manager, while In oil refinery, pricing decision is taken by the top level management. The next purpose of organizing is to create proper balance. Organization structure creates the proper balance and emphasis of activities. Those which are more critical to the enterprise's success might be placed higher in the organization. For example, R&D in pharmaceutical company might be singled out for reporting to the managing director. Activity of lesser importance might be placed at lower level. The next purpose is to stimulate creativity. A sound organization stimulates independent creative thinking and initiative by providing well-defined areas of work with a broad attitude of development of new and improved ways of doing things. The next purpose is to encourage growth. The organization structure provides framework within which an enterprise functions. If the organization structure is flexible, it will help in meeting challenges and creating opportunity for growth. And the last purpose, which is listed, is to make use of technical improvements. A sound organization structure, which is adaptable to changes, can make the best possible use of latest technology. It can modify the existing pattern of responsibility relationships in the wake of technology's improvements. So, the takeaway point of this session is that the whole purpose of organization is to organize people and work to achieve the objectives or goal of a company efficiently and effectively. And these are the books which you can refer uh, for the topics I've covered in this session. That is Principles of Management by Tripathi and P.N. Reddy, published by Margaret Hill Education, and Management and Entrepreneurship by N.V.R. Naidu, P. Krishna Rao, by IK International Publishing House Private Limited, and the last one is Management and Entrepreneurship by Veerabhadraya Havinal, published by New Age International Publishers. Now, let me discuss some multiple choice questions on the topics which I have discussed in this session. And the first question is, the philosophy that guides an organization policy towards its employees and customers is an important part of option A, management strategy, option B, organization behavior, option C, organization culture, option D, organization development. And the correct answer is answer C, that is organization structure. Organization structure guides an organization policy towards its employees and customers. And the next question is, organization establishes relationship between option A, people, work and resources, option B, customer, work and resources, option C, people, work and management, and option D, customer, work and management. And the correct answer is option A, that is organization establishes relationship between or among people, work and resources. The next question goes like this. Organization is a process of option A, identifying and grouping of work to be performed, option B, identifying and delegating the responsibility and authority, option C, both A and B, Option D, none. And the correct answer is option C, that is both A and B. So the organization is a process of identifying and grouping of work to be performed, and also identifying, defining and delegating the responsibility and authority. Next question is, organizing fixes the authority and responsibility among employees, which brings in option A, clarity in the organization, option B, transparency in the organization, option C, both A and B, and option D, none of the above. And the correct answer is option C, that is, organization fixes the responsibility among employees to bring, and that is which brings clarity in the organization and also the transparency in the organization. And the next question is, the greatest advantage of division of labor is that A, it increases the productivity per worker, B, it increases the cost of production, C, it decreases the efficiency, D, it increases the duration of production. And the correct answer is option A, that is, division of labor increases the productivity per worker. Division of labor won't increase the cost of production. It actually decreases the cost of production. It also increases the efficiency. It also actually decreases the duration of production. So actual answer is increases the productivity per worker. Next question is, which of the following is not a process of organizing? Option A, division of work. Option B, assignment of duties. Option C, grouping of jobs. Option D, decision making. And the correct answer is decision making is not actually the process of organizing. And all other options are the process of organizing. Next question. Dash clearly defines what tasks and activities shall be carried out at a particular job. Option A, role clarity. Option B, job design. Option C, coordination. Option D, specialization. And the correct answer is role clarity, which defines the tasks and activities to be performed. And the next question is, which of the following is not true with respect to organizing? Increase in productivity, option A, and the next option B, it saves time, option C, it increases stress, option D, it helps to meet the deadline on time. So the correct answer is answer C, it increases stress. That is not the correct answer or not the correct option with respect to organizing. It is not true with respect to organizing. All other options are true with respect to organizing. That is, it increases productivity, it also saves time and helps us to meet deadline on time. Organizing structure primarily refers to option A, how activities are coordinated and controlled, how resources are allocated, the location of departments and office space, option C, and the option D is the policy statements developed by the firm. And the correct answer is answer A, option A, that is, organization structure defines how activities are coordinated and controlled. And that's the end of this session. Thank you.